all. Thanks for joining me for another episode of SexxPerTease. Today's episode is about, well, the question is, why do some guys seem to have an easier time bottoming than others? Well, I mean, there are so many different factors. Like, every human body is different. We all have different levels of thresholds for pain. We all have different digestive systems. We all have different desires, feelings, whatever. So anal sex is definitely different for everyone. Like, we all have different favorite positions. We all have different favorite, like, sizes of penises. Like, some guys like micro dicks, some guys like big, huge dicks, some guys like average. Like, it all depends on what you want to do. But I mean, I guess some guys do have don't have to worry about being a messy bottom as much. But then again, I feel like that's mostly about how you clean and how you know, like, your body. Like, it does take a while to be able to have great sex because you have to know what works for you. Like, some people change their diet, so they make sure not to eat a while before they're having sex, or they make sure to just take an enema and shit it all out, or they just only eat like small foods, or maybe they'll eat a lot of vegetables so they do get it out of their system, and like whatever. It's all different for everyone. I mean, I know I shouldn't eat at least within like an hour or two probably before I'm gonna get fucked, but sometimes things are spontaneous, so you make do with what's going on. I do think, like, I mean, we all have different levels of tightness. Like, I know I have an extremely tight asshole, and I feel like it's always been super difficult for me to have sex, but like none of my friends have seemed to have the same problem. And then if I do send like an anus pic, guys, like, it's so tight, and I'm like, why is everyone else's asshole like more open? Like, I mean, some people are like, ooh, it's so tight, like, or people like want to brag that they're so tight, but I mean, being tight has not been like a blessing. Like, being tight just means it's really difficult for me to have sex, and it's like hard to like open up. Like, honestly, if I don't prepare beforehand, like, I can't have sex. Like, it will not go in. Like, my asshole's like closed. So I have to use like my 9-inch dildo and then masturbate to like, well, I guess I don't have to like jerk off, but I mean, I do like to jerk off. I'm like, I'm not gonna use my dildo and not jerk off. But yeah, so like, use a big ass dildo to like open my hole up and make it like moist or whatever. Then usually like shower and like clean, so that, like, that keeps it open. But I still have to have like a butt plug and leave it in me for like half an hour. And like, I know none of my friends have ever had to go through that much trouble. Like, no one else I know has to go through all that just to get fucked. Even with like a pinky dick, like my ex had a little dick, he couldn't fuck me unless I went through all that trouble. So yeah, it's just difficult for some people, but like, everyone's body is different, so it's never like, there isn't like one hack or one trick that works for everyone. I mean, some people also just don't like the pain of bottoming. It does take a level of tolerance that you have to like train your body to get used to, whether it's like using toys or even just getting fucked a lot. Like, your body, you have to like train yourself that it's not pain, it's pleasure, and you like it. But I mean, you do like it eventually, but like, it does hurt. I feel like no matter how many times you bottom, I feel like, even like when I use a toy, like, it hurts the first time I insert it, but if you take it out and put it back in, it doesn't hurt like as much or at all, and then you just get used to it. But I feel like the first penetration is always the hardest, which is why I pull out and then stick back in, and then that usually works in making at least my hole more comfortable. I mean, everyone's different. Also, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's harder, like, even being like a messy bottom, like, you can clean however you want, but I mean, not everyone's gonna go out and do an enema, and you're not even just to do those like often. So if you're getting fucked a lot, like, unless you're like a porn star, like, I wouldn't recommend probably doing an enema every time you have sex. And again, you don't want to shell over a guy's dick, but on the other hand, like, if you know your stomach's upset, like, I feel like you usually know. Like, I know if my stomach is like sensitive and I'm gonna like need a shit soon or whatever, or just shit, like, then I know not to have sex. But like, if you feel fine, or like you don't have to shit, like, usually like it's not an issue. So yeah, it is hard to just like try to describe like why some guys have an easier time bottoming, but it's just like, we're all literally different people with different like backgrounds, desires, interests, even sexual interests. Like, some guys like riding dicks. Like, I fucking hate that position because I feel like one, since I'm super tight, like it doesn't go in if I like have to sit on it. Like that doesn't work for me. Like I need to be on my back or even doggy style. So like guys are like, I want you to ride me, and I'm just like, no, like I don't like the position. But then again, like other guys like love riding dick, but also like maybe your asshole isn't as tight as mine, so maybe it's easier for you to get dicks up in there. But for me, that position is super inconvenient. So yeah, I mean it's different, and bottoming can be really difficult, but try out every method there is that you hear chicks ask people like, what do they do, how do you do it, and then maybe what works for them can work for you, or you just figure out what works for you on your own. I mean, I don't think I ever really had a manual or teacher, but you just like take information from everywhere, everyone, and then you like decide what works for you with like experience. Like toys definitely help in like getting your asshole comfortable. And I know, like, I love my butt plugs. I have one in every size. Like, they are a godsend, even though I don't believe in God. But yeah, so whatever works, try it all out, figure it out. Everyone is capable of bottoming. You just have to prepare and clean properly. Hope that helped answer your question, and thanks for joining me for another episode of SexxxPerTease.